to the community at large. For those of you who are here for the first time, how many people are here for the first time? I see some new faces and places. Yay! Many people here from Meetup. Great, thank you for coming. And many people from the Facebook or other social media. Okay. What we have is a flyer here that gives you a description of the program, a little protocol sheet on the back of the flyer, and then the third item is a questionnaire which we'd like you to fill out a little bit before the end of the meeting, like during break or at the end, just to give us some feedback, if you'd like, about the program and about what you'd like to see in the future. We'd like to get feedback from the community so we can always tailor it to the needs that are presently being expressed by the people at large. This year's themes have run towards 2012, year of change, and so we've had a lot of speakers for that purpose. And if you're interested in hearing any of those programs, we have 3 right now that are up on YouTube. So the New Hope Metaphysical Society has a YouTube page, and it's very cool. So we have that, plus a promo video and some miscellaneous channelings that we've had. Okay, so let's see, what else can we do here? Usually we have announcements. We've had announcements in the past when people wanted to offer, programs that they're interested in. So do we have any announcements here that people would like to make about other up-and-coming programs? Usually Loretta has something. Okay. And Loretta is one of the members of our advisory board.
Loretta always has something. Hi everybody, welcome. Welcome to the people that are new. I just want to let you know that there is the Inner Journey Cruise is going to Bermuda next July. We're doing a metaphysical conference on the way down and the way back. There's flyers over there. Maybe Susan will be with us. What else do I need to tell you about that? Registration online is almost perfected, but there's a separate registration fee for the conference in case people they're traveling companion and doesn't want a conference. So, and the other thing I want to tell you is that there's an early bird special until December 21st, 2012. There's an early bird
atonement, as they call it, but I like to think of it as at one minute, play on the word. So what I'm going to try to do tonight is do a meditation on at one minute. We're being at one with everything, which might nicely segue with what I think our speaker will talk about tonight. So if you would like to just close your eyes and get yourself in a comfortable position so that you're ready to just relax into this little guided meditation. So everybody taking a deep breath now together, if possible. Breathe in fully and deeply. And hold the breath for a few seconds longer than you normally would. And then exhale completely and fully. And even if you want to blow the air out, that helps really release all the carbon dioxide and everything that you're trying to get rid of through your lungs. Okay, let's take another deep breath once you completely exhale. Breathe in. Breathe in. Hold the breath. And when you're ready to hold no longer, then exhale. And you'll see that this is kind of automatically relaxes your body. Start yawning, in fact. And let's do this a couple more times at your pace. Breathe in. You can even want to count to the count of 4 if you'd like. Hold the breath for the count of 4, and exhale to the count of 4. I'm going to say it again. Ready? And breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4, and exhale. 2, 3, 4. And do this a few more times on your own. Breathe in. Hold the breath. And exhale. And this is just a very simple breathing technique that allows you to begin to focus in on your breath, and to focus on the sound of your voice, and to just focus on relaxing your body. So this time, when we breathe in, we're going to breathe in consciously a sense of breathing in peace, and quiet, stillness. And on the exhalation, you're going to release all stress and tension and discomfort. So inhale, you're going to breathe in lightness, and quietness, comfort, and serenity. And on the exhale, imagine yourself now just breathing out all the stress from your body. Let your muscles relax with the exhalation. Let all the tension let go. Roll out your hands and fingers. Roll down your legs and feet and toes. As you again breathe in. Breathe in fully. Feel the deep relaxation energies flowing as you breathe in. And on the exhale, imagine now continue to feel all the stress and tension leaving your body and mind. And allow yourself to continue just to breathe maybe more naturally, but just to concentrate on the breath, feeling the deep rhythm of the breath as you inhale and exhale. And you yourself attuned to each different zone of the breath. Inhale. As you continue this practice in your own routine, you may suggest that your body becomes more and more relaxed as you focus in on the rhythm of the breath. Feel the weight beneath you really down. Don't feel so good as you turn inward and just to concentrate solely on the breath. Just listening to my voice and breathing out. More relaxed as you breathe deeper and deeper. Feel yourself sinking into the chair. becoming more relaxed with your body and relaxing. And get more open and flexible to suggestion. As I now suggest to you some things that will help you connect now to all that we know as the world at large. And so the grounding technique, imagine now that at the bottom of your feet are roots that are growing out from the soles of your feet. And those roots are going down deep into the floor, through the basement, and down into the earth itself. And these roots are seeking to be nourished by the earth. So feel these roots in your feet, flowing down to the floor boards, down to the basement, down into the earth itself. And connecting into like any root of any stage. Feel yourself connected into the earth, in this passion. So the aspect the earth energy is can be pulled up by the roots of your feet. The nourishment energy of the earth. Be pulled up. In the center of your feet. Lord, this is all pulling up nourishment energy. Just like when you pull up that energy. You can pull up nourishment from your roots. And think of feeling the energy is flowing up to the roots. Up into the feet.
That's one of them, right? Can I use the So we ask that this space become sacred space. And we invite great mystery to be present. We invite the compassionate and loving ancestors to be here with us, because without them we wouldn't be here, and because they want us to do well and be well in our lives. And we invite the great teachers and masters, especially those with whom we have relationship and connection. And we invite the great beings of light, the angels, particularly the guardian angels, the healing angels, and the angels of the crossing. We invite the power animals, the totems, and we thank them for loaning us their powers and qualities and for relationship with us. And when we invite the elements, earth, air, water, fire, and sacred space. And we ask that those elements be in harmony within us and outside of us. And we invite the earth, the sun, and the moon. And I thank the stars and the compassionate star beings. And I invite the directions and the guardians of the directions and the principal qualities that they represent. And I invite the healing spirits of all the realms. And I invite the compassionate spirits and devas. And I give thanks for the blessings that I know we will receive here tonight. And I greet the great spirits of the land here, and I ask that we may be allowed to be in harmony with you and to prosper here. And I give thanks to the spirits of this place for allowing all of this work to happen here. And again, I give thanks for the blessings that I know we will receive. Aho. So, we're now outside of time and space. In shamanic parlance, we have entered non-ordinary reality. Can you hear me okay? Everybody hear me okay? Okay. So, anybody here a shamanic practitioner? Any shamanic training? Okay, hi. Loretta, yes. I want to talk a little bit about what are the principles of shamanic practice, and then talk about how it morphs into modern day usage and translates into something that we can use aside from hunting deer, although maybe some of us do that, or finding the herds that move to feed the people. Shamanic practice is one of the oldest practices known to humankind. When you think about the cave paintings or the drawings in Lascaux in France or the other ancient cave paintings, you see pictures of people turning into birds, turning into deer, turning into bears, or seeming to leave their body and flying. And those are believed to be depictions of early shamans whose consciousness leaves their bodies or merges with spirit beings so that they do the work that the people need. Shamanism wasn't necessarily a spiritual practice when it first started, although everything was spiritual in ancient communities because of connection to cycles of nature and the gods and beings that people worshipped. But shamanism was a practical craft. Where do we find the herds to feed the people? Where can we go to be away from the tribe that is our enemy? How do I heal someone who's sick? How do I bring balance back to my community? How do I help the dead to transition so that they don't get stuck here and bring ill influence to my tribe? And how do I help the dead who might be stuck here to transition? How do I find lost objects? There were many uses for shamanic practice. Today we look at it as a series of skills or techniques, but really it has evolved from this practical approach to life and become, or at that time it was a spiritual way of life, and now it has become this kind of series of practices. We do extraction, we do psychopomp work, we do divination, but as a practitioner you realize that it becomes about living your life in what we call a shamanic way, living your life in connection with spirit. If you're not in connection with spirit, you're helping allies the wisdom of what is so much more than what you know or can access through a book or through someone else's belief, you can't really be a good practitioner. In a village, a shaman never called himself a shaman. It wasn't something that anyone wanted to be, because normally there was an initiation, what they call a near-death initiation, where someone would almost die and come back with powers that they didn't understand where they came from. Or they would be sent out from the village into the woods to undergo an initiation and have to find a way to survive and get messages from spirit. And then they would come back with particular gifts. No one really wanted to be this because it was very challenging. And even now you'll find that many people who are called to this practice have had what they call initiation by near-death experience. They become what the wounded healers, or they have undergone some type of calling. It's not something that people necessarily want to seek out because it carries a responsibility with it for being on call to your community. So that's one of the principal characteristics of being called to the practice. Another principle of shamanic practice is that we work through direct revelation. We get information from our helping spirits for ourselves. People think that shamanism is a religion, but unlike common religions that you might be familiar with, we're not necessarily subscribing as practitioners to the beliefs that other people have told us are true. The beliefs that we work with, the wisdom that we work with is not codified in a book somewhere. It's something that has been told to a practitioner by his or her helping spirits. And the way that this information is obtained can be many different ways. You can have somebody appear in front of you, like Moses and the burning bush. Or more common, at least in modern day, is alteration of consciousness. And how that happens typically is through dance, trance dancing, singing and chanting, sonic driving. You've heard about drum journeys and rattle journeys. People in Australia travel on the didgeridoo, kind of a droning, repetitive, monotonous sound. And frequently you'll hear also about people working with plant spirits. Ayahuasca, the Native American church works with peyote. Plant spirits are used in a sacred way to take people outside of their ordinary everyday consciousness. But what happens when you work with these different consciousness-altering practices is that the monkey mind, the busy mind, the mind that says, what are you doing? What, are you really sucking an illness out of somebody? It says, it gets quiet, and spirit can come in, and you can tap in to what spirit has to tell you. And many times, as a practitioner, you don't know what's going to happen in a healing session until you go into an altered state and spirit shows you something that you haven't seen before. I'm a very rational, left-brain person. I work for a law firm during the day. I don't believe in any kind of weird stuff. Yet, what I have found is that the validation I have gotten through doing this practice from the people that I've worked with and from my own helping spirits has taken me beyond any form of doubt. Like, I'll be working on someone and I will see a picture of a green rowboat and my spirits will say to me, tell her about the green rowboat. I'm like, no, I'm not telling her about the green rowboat. They say, tell her about the green rowboat. And I say, okay. So it's all over, and I say, when I was working in your solar plexus area, I saw a green rowboat, and the person completely falls apart, like sobbing, weeping. And what she'll say to me is, when I was 7 years old, I almost drowned when I fell out of a green rowboat. I worked on a young man once doing a soul retrieval for him. I didn't know. I ask people not to give me a lot of information about their backgrounds when I do the work, so it doesn't, what they have told me isn't confused with what my helping spirits tell me. And so I'm working for this young man, and I go to a place I've never been before. I see a spirit that tells me it's his mother, and she says to me, tell him he has my heart. And I'm thinking, okay, there's some rift between him and his mother. I'll tell him this. And you know, he's a young man. He was maybe 17 years old. And so I tell him this, and he too breaks down sobbing and crying because his mother died when he was 10. And so she was connecting with him, giving him back the soul parts that he lost when she died, and saying on top of that, here's my heart. So really, when you go into this practice, you have no way to know what's going to happen. And as a left brain person, when I'm doing this, I'm saying, oh, I don't believe you're doing this, you know, what are you doing? And so I just say, yeah, it doesn't work, but let's pretend it does. And so when I go and I come back and I get this validation, it has really led me further down the path because the practice has proven itself out. So we work by direct revelation. One of the other things true about shamanic practice is you never work alone. You work with your allies, you work with your helping spirits, you work with beings that show up to help. Sometimes, you know, you may have one or two totems. I'm sure you've all heard about totems or power animals or allies like that. But sometimes you'll be working and somebody else will show up with specific gifts or skills that your power animals don't have, and they show up to help you with that. But you always, always are working with help that's, as far as I've come across it, unseen. And my teacher, Sandra Ingerman, who's fairly well known in the shamanic, world, and has written a couple of books about the practice, gives a really good analogy. She said, as humans, we're on the baseball field. We play our positions, we see what's happening on the field in front of us, but we don't necessarily have a view of the entire field. Spirits are in the stands, and they can see the whole picture. They see the whole thing, and they have bits of information that we don't have. So when they show up to tell us, to inform us, they're coming from a place where they have a much broader view than we have. So that's why we don't work alone, because we don't want to necessarily rely on what we're able to come up with. Another principle is that we have connection with everything. Everything has consciousness in shamanic worldview. Everything has consciousness. The microphone stand has consciousness. The lights have consciousness. We tend to typically think of things outside, living things, trees, streams, animals, as having consciousness. Rocks have consciousness. Everything has consciousness. Everything vibrates. My Native American teacher, Joseph Rael, talks about Tayina, the people. And what the people mean is everything that vibrates. The people is not just the humans. The people is all members of the family here on Mother Earth. The wing